Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And we've got our Mailbag podcast. We're going to talk about the Giants QB plan. But first, Justin, the Giants have hired Jets safety coach Marquand Manuel as their DB coach plus pass game coordinator. Let's get into all of it. Now, position coaches are hard to judge, especially when you're not watching their position and what they do every day. So just going to give some information on the guy. He has been the Jets safety coach for the last 4 years. Before that was the Eagles DB coach for a year, and then the Falcons defensive coordinator for a couple of years. Even worked with Jerome Henderson with the Falcons while he was there, and then was with the Seahawks under Dan Quinn as well. I'll say this, I think he did a good job with the Jets safeties. I asked Zach Rosenblatt about him, and he said he liked him, and the players love him. Players loving a coach doesn't mean they're a good coach, but they did. The Jets never gave him a ton of talent at the safety spot, but he did do well with it. Tony Adams became a starter as a UDFA. Jordan Whitehead was good under him. Ashton Davis had 8 interceptions in the last 4 years. And even, I watched Jason Pinnock's safety film from his first year in the NFL, converting from corner to safety, and was able to identify that I think this guy has starter level third safety talent. And I think he's been similar to what he was that year when they actually transformed him into a safety from the cornerback spot. So, again, don't have a ton of information on Marquand Manuel, but I do like what the Jets have done with their passing defense over the last 4 years, where they were 30th and then 3rd, 2nd, and 4th the last 3 years.
What's interesting about Manuel is he was promoted to Falcons defensive coordinator when Jerome Henderson had a better and higher title than him. So before he was DC in 2017 and 2018, so 2016, Henderson and Manuel are on the Falcons together, and it's actually Manuel that had the lesser title than Henderson. So I found that to be interesting as well, how the ties are just there. Seems to be a hands-on coach, seems to be a guy that's, I saw a pregame speech where he was getting in the guys' faces, talking some inspirational stuff, so that's cool. I rather than what you said, excited for him. If the players like him, if he can hold people accountable within the means of what Brian Dable and Joe Schoen are looking for, then let's roll. I do like getting kind of a different voice in here, and a guy with some different experience, I will say.
Yeah, you mentioned with the Henderson thing. Henderson was the pass game coordinator their entire time there, and then Marquand Manuel went from DB coach to the defensive coordinator, which I don't know what is higher. Usually the defensive... Anytime you see a pass game coordinator on the defense, they're usually the DB coach as well, and they've given that additional title. There's really no crossover with the Giants staff, right? None with Brian Dable, none with Shane Bowen, none with the other defensive coaches on the team. There's, Jerome Henderson would have been the only one there, so no crossover with the staff. And they did give him that pass game coordinator title, according to Josina Anderson. Or whatever you want to call it. As DC with the Falcons, the first year was really good. That was the Super Bowl year. They're 8th in scoring, 12th in passing, 9th in rushing. Now, Dan Quinn's in reality is the DC. And then 2018, they dropped to 25th in scoring, 27th in passing, 25th in rushing, and then he got fired with Dan Quinn. So, yeah, again, there's not much information we can get on him, but that's kind of what Marquand Manuel is. We'll see. He's going to be charged with fixing Deonte Banks. Yeah, that is the charge that they are hiring him for. It seems like the main reason they let go of Jerome Henderson is despite the fact that they have victory lap Tyler Nubin and Drew Phillips, that Jerome Henderson doesn't know how to develop young talent. So he'll be charged with fixing Deonte Banks, and if this coaching staff makes it through another year, he'll make it through that year too. But we'll see. But probably going to be no other changes for the Giants, at least in major positions. I know there's a rumor that Zach Kerr, the defensive assistant, might go to the Patriots. But, that's basically it I have on Marquand Manuel.
Yeah, and something to mention about him, too. Now, Jerome Henderson, funny enough, was a former NFL DB. Played 98 games in the NFL from 1991 to 1998. But Marquand Manuel was also a defensive back as well. He was mainly a safety, strong safety, free safety. 2002 to 2009, he had his best season, I believe, with the Green Bay Packers in 2006.
He had 2 interceptions. He had a pick 6 against the Lions. You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that. But
who was the interception on?
So who was it against?
Yeah, it was against the Lions.
Against the Lions. Dan Orlovsky.
That's a good guess.
John Kitna.
John Kitna. It was a pick six on John Kitna, so that's a good guess.
So, you got to like a former player coming in here, even one that's a little bit more recent. He's only 45 years old. Jerome Henderson, 10 years older at 55. So, a player that's been there, done that, going to come in and bring, I guess, a little bit of a younger voice and maybe even a new energy. I don't even want to say more enthusiasm. I don't know if Jerome Henderson was really like enthusiastic or not, but at least from some pregame videos that we saw, look out for Marquand Manuel giving some pregame hype speeches, which is cool.
What did he ask Eli Apple?
He asked Eli Apple about his sexuality, and he had to apologize for that a couple months later.
Apologize. You told me that right before the show, and I was.
Yeah.
I'm a little more excited for he's gonna be charged with the fixing of Deonte Banks. I want to see Tyler Nubin get his hands on the football. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to, and I might bring up Tyler Nubin in a question later on in the show. But
so will I.
That's what I'm. Son of a gun.
I have a dumb question. The Giants fired their safeties coach, right?
Yeah, Mike Trier.
So is Manuel going to be responsible for the CBs and safeties?
Yeah, that's usually what it is in the NFL. And then the safety coach is kind of like an assistant DB's coach.
Okay, got it. All right, I just wanted to...
Jerome Henderson was in charge of the Giants safeties, but Mike Trier had the specific title of safety. So they may bring someone else in for that position as well, too, but he's going to be working with the safeties.
I'm sure some other people also had that question.
Yeah. No, it's a good... because, they did fire Mike Trier. So, yeah, that's that with Marquand Manuel. But the Giants have replaced a lot of their position coaches since Dable's been hired. Their coordinators and position coaches, 7 of the 12 have been replaced. DC and special teams coordinator, running back, tight end, and O-line coach. And then now the first defensive change with Jerome Henderson being gone.
The first defensive change, even though they changed defensive
coordinator.
Not counting the
outside
Wilkins
linebackers.
Too.
Excuse me, Drew Wilkins.
Yeah, the Wilkins brothers.
The second one. So we'll see how it all goes. Marquand Manuel, you'll be either our hero, you're gonna be overrated, or called a piece of shit. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, get ready.
Get ready, or you'll just be the best DB coach of all time. All right, Justin, before we get into this mailbag, let's talk to the people about something. And I want to talk to them about Huel. It's a new year, and we're all about setting goals and actually hitting them, right? That's why I wanted to talk to you about today's sponsor, Huel, spelled H-U-E-L, the global complete nutrition brand trusted by millions. Not billions. They wish. Millions. Huel is a perfectly balanced meal designed by experts to provide all the nutrients your body needs from a meal. Huel takes the guesswork out of healing. They're convenient and taste so good. Huel shakes actually taste like a milkshake. One of my favorites is their Black Edition ready to drink because it's got 35 grams of protein plus 27 vitamins and minerals. You can find Huel in GNC stores on Amazon or directly at Huel.com. For new customers shopping at Huel.com, you can try it for 15% off plus get a free gift using our exclusive code GIANTS. That's 15% off plus a free gift for new customers with the code GIANTS at Huel.com. Start your year off strong. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters. You'll be glad you did. All right, take it away, Steve.
Mail time. Mail
time. The mail's here. Come on. Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
Thanks, Steve from Blues Clues. Justin, let's get into the mail.
First question is coming from Homeless Ninja. Have you ever seen one of those? At Homeless Ninja. Do the Giants spend on someone like Fields and then also draft a guy like Cam Ward or Sanders, or would they simply hand the reins to a rookie?
So, officially, let's talk about QB plan without being like this is the quarterback they should draft. Justin, doesn't Justin Fields feel like the obvious choice to go after in free agency for the Giants and quarterback. Like it feels like it's been the go-to guy for everyone because it just makes the most sense, which actually is a little bit worrisome because there's probably other teams who view it the same way. Like he hasn't done anything to where he's going to get this big contract, right? Last year he was traded for a 6th-round pick and then got benched, so I don't think his stock has went up a ton. He has all the arm talent and athleticism that got him drafted 11th overall and traded up for. He's 9-5 in his last 14 starts, full games with 14 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So you can win with him. And then he has 708 rushing yards, 50 yards per game, and 8 rushing touchdowns in that time, right? So some positives there. Now the negatives with Fields are, 2,800 passing yards in those 14 games with 196 yards per game. That'd be 30th in the NFL this year. 39 sacks in 14 games is a ton, and he's one of the worst in the NFL at allowing pressure and sacks, and just struggles to read the middle of the field. So he's not great. As I'm reading this, Zach Core did sign with the Patriots. Breaking news. So anyways, he's not great, but like he has like all the makings of a guy that you can win with and not be your long-term plan. Maybe you get more out of him, maybe you get less out of him, but the athleticism is really just the floor riser where at least you can lean into that rushing if it's an issue. Just job zone reads, and he's got good arm talent. He can force feed a wide receiver one. We saw that with DJ Moore in Chicago. So those are the good things about Fields. My worry, though, is that there's other teams that could look for a bridge quarterback or don't have their likely starter. You have, like, I looked at the Jets, the Steelers, the Browns, the Titans, the Colts, the Saints, and the Raiders. That's 7 other teams other than the Giants. And let's look at the quarterbacks who will be available. Like the young QBs who are in like the QB 24 to 35, like low-end starter or, top backups. There's really only 2 names there. Justin Fields and Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, maybe you could throw Mac Jones in there. I wouldn't. So the young guys. Then you have the could be good, where you have like Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold. And then you have the older guys, Derek Carr, if he's available, which I don't think he will be with his cap hit. And then you have Russell Wilson, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston. And then you have the talented but have shown nothing to even be a good backup, like the Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, and then you have like the other one, which is like day 3 draft pick trade, Will Levis. So you got 7 teams looking for a possible starter, and Fields looks like the clear best option to go and do that. I want to bring in Justin Fields, and honestly, if you don't, the options don't feel great. Even if you do draft a quarterback, because I think you look at the vets outside of that, it's Brissett and Wilson. Even if you get a rookie quarterback, you got to bring in somebody.
Hey, Winston, Jameis.
Like the only, I don't know. Jameis
I know you don't want.
like,
I don't want it, but you just because what the Giants have to do. I mean, we all know that they want to draft a quarterback. They need it like oxygen, right? But they also have to because they have the 3rd pick, and in a way, they're not in control of their own destiny unless they start giving Tennessee a call, which we're going to talk about that
which would happen before free agency.
Which would happen before, ideally it would happen before free agency. But I still do think no matter what, you're going to have to get some sort of better quality backup, like even a step up from like Tyrod and especially Drew Lock. Like you're going to have to get a step up from even those guys, like a guy that you think can go out there and play, because you just don't know what's going to happen in the draft unless you get the 1st or 2nd pick.
Yeah. So if you draft a quarterback, the signing gets a lot. If you miss on Justin Fields, because then if you draft a quarterback, bring in Russell Wilson for whatever he gets. Bring in Jacoby Brissett. He's not far off from playing some decent ball in Cleveland. The issue is if they're not, like, let's, say they go, quarterbacks go 1-2 and they're not, then if you miss on Justin Fields, what's the option? Because going in with those guys as like 17-week starters is not like, then like maybe you go Aaron Rodgers, but we know that's not happening. Like it's a bad spot to be in what would be a do or die year for the Giants. And honestly, going through this exercise made me pretty convinced that the Giants are probably going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, we'll talk about the whole trade-up thing. We have a question on that. But, yeah, I was also ready to come on here and be like, you know what? In a year where odds are we're not going to be overtly thrilled with quarterback unless it's, maybe... I have a little bit of difference of opinion on Cam Ward as of now than you do. I mean, I just get full-on anxiety attacks watching him. But then there's also some plays where it's like, that's fucking sick. But, yeah, I'm pretty ready to say Justin Fields in a year where... we may not be blown away by the Giants quarterback decision. I would be like, all right, let's roll. Like, let's roll for a year or two. Or, if they give him a 2-year deal, if any team wants to give him a 3-year deal, I'd be like, all right, sayonara, go somewhere else and enjoy at least the next 2 years in Las Vegas. If the team like the Raiders wants to give him a 3-year deal, all right, sayonara, peace, see you later. But
he's not going to get he's not going to get a lot of money.
But you just mentioned 7 teams that may get in a bidding war for the services of Justin Fields because those are 7 teams that don't have, and ultimately only 2 of them. Or did you even include the Browns in that list of 7 teams?
I did. So, but
okay.
like the Steelers could just bring back Russ. That eliminates 1 team. The Colts probably will try and run it back with Anthony Richardson. Maybe they keep Joe Flacco. So then you're down to 5 teams, and then
maybe the Browns just bring back Jameis too, since Deshaun Watson is tearing his Achilles every other week.
The Jets have Tyrod Taylor there, so like again, that 7 teams can be, dwindled a little bit. But like when I say he's not going to, like Sam Darnold last year got $10 million. Fields, if he gets anything more than that, it would be barely anymore.
Like I'm thinking 12, 14, 15.
Yeah, at most that's what he'd get. If he got more than that, it would be hard to justify that.
Yeah, but I'd be ready to roll with it. That would be something that I would be more than okay with.
He's the option that just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And it's something that basically there hasn't been a single other suggestion for the Giants in a vet quarterback outside of Justin Fields because he is the one that clearly makes the most sense. And again, look, now if they draft a quarterback, Justin Fields still would be the one that makes the most sense to me. But if they draft a quarterback, then you can bring in Jacoby Brissett.
But that's why I almost feel like, and you see the wave that this has gone in the NFL of at least sitting the rookie quarterback for a few games. I'm not even talking about a whole year or 2 years. But at least sitting the rookie quarterback for a few games, it's just something that I feel is working in the NFL. So that's why I feel no matter what, this organization is going to have 2 quarterbacks on the roster to start the year that the organization views can start and play for them. Not like this year where, they're telling Drew Lock that he can and he will, but they don't. But they probably don't want to because they do view Daniel Jones as an upgrade over Lock.
Right. So yeah, I agree. I think that's the way they're going to go into it because they know their job's on their line. So they even if they draft a quarterback, they're going to want the vet on the roster to at least buy them some time. So
yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, Justin Fields just makes the most sense. All right, next question. But to answer the question is, I don't think neither one of us are on a just not really worried about the other quarterback. Just draft a QB and it's their team.
No. I think they need to do both. If they're going to draft a quarterback, I still think that they need to sign one in free agency, or you trade up to number 1.
Yeah, and they'll obviously have to sign somebody because
yeah.
they don't have DeVito under contract.
Right.
But like, I don't want that. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't love the options out there.
No, it's not good. I don't even love Justin Fields, to be honest. But out of all the options,
no, nobody does. But it's just like he makes the most sense because he's got the talent. He's young. You got the legs allow you to raise your floor a bit, and he's shown that you can't win with him. He's not like Zach Wilson or something. He's not the young core. It's not the same as taking a shot on Zach Wilson,
who is available, by the way.
Yeah, don't want him.
Okay. Come back to Jersey. Come home. Research Rick. He asked, what 3 moves would it take for you to meaningfully raise your excitement level about the 2025 Giants, Bobby?
I'm already excited, Rick. Old Rickolas. I mean, number one is obviously drafting a quarterback. I mean, that's the easy one. That gets you excited for any season if you have a rookie quarterback. Even if you don't think that QB is going to be good, you know, like you're at least going to be excited. I'm not going to let whatever say they draft a quarterback I don't like. I'm not going to let my take stop me from being excited about what a rookie QB is going to be. So that's the easy one. Here's my other one. Let's say they go QB 1-2, or quarterbacks go 1 and 2. Drafting Abdul Carter, because it's not just that they drafted the guy that I think is the best player in the draft, and just nuts. And again, like I barely have started draft stuff. Been doing mostly Senior Bowl stuff. I just watched Abdul Carter, and I'm like, I'm gonna struggle finding someone who I like better than that. I've watched Travis Hunter. I love Travis Hunter. I don't like him more than Abdul Carter. But it's not just because he'd be what I think is a great player, but it would signal a shift in draft strategy. Because Travis Hunter would be a great pick for this team, you know, if they're not able to get a quarterback. But the question will still be in my head of who would have Shane drafted if Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau didn't exist. You know, if Abdul, it kind of shifts a change in draft strategy and just like, let's get the guys who we think are going to be the best players in here and not just drafting positions. And then my third one, Justin, take the offensive line just as serious this offseason. No matter how much I wanted Joe Shane fired, Justin, the O-line was way better this year. Even when Andrew Thomas got injured, there's 44 QBs who qualified. Drew Lock was 19th and Daniel Jones 29th in sack rate, higher being less sacks. Jermaine Illuminor was a great signing. John Runyon did his job. Greg Van Roten was a good minimum signing. JMS as your weakest of the starting five at center spot is fine. But right now they have three for sure starters in Thomas, Runyon, and Jermaine. And probably a fourth in JMS. Like, I want to take it just as serious this offseason. Add a starter, possibly two in free agency. Don't make Evan Neal your swing tackle. Get swing tackle and draft that position as well. I want the offensive line to be taken just as serious as it was last offseason.
Yeah, I mean, you can even argue that they didn't take it fully serious because they didn't draft one. And the only position I would have drafted one was in Drew Phillips' spot with Christian Haynes, and I'm not going to get fully mad at them on passing on Bo Limmer day 3, even though he's a starter for the Los Angeles Rams right now. Good for me. All right, here are my 3. Upgraded quarterback, number 1. Number 2, get a legit cornerback 1. I've been sitting here daydreaming about DJ Reed all day. Reunite with Manuel. And number 3, take depth more seriously to increase the floor. What I mean by that is, I feel like Joe Shane over the last couple years has done a lot of moves to try and increase the ceiling of this Giants team. We're going to add this position because we need it. We're going to add that position because we need it in an effort to increase the ceiling. But like NFL seasons go, guys get injured, things go wrong, things don't go according to plan. And there's no depth on this team. Like, through 3 years of Joe Shane, there's not a lot of depth. And the only spot that we thought that we had depth was wide receiver, and Jalen Hyatt can't run routes. So that's my wish for this offseason. And it's like, if we have, like Bobby said, a swing tackle, and it really is, it's very O-line, D-line centered. If you have O-linemen that we can kind of go to and like, yeah, maybe this guy won't be a disaster if we throw him in there, unlike Evan Neal and Josh Ozudu. And I get that's a luxury. That's a luxury in the NFL. There's a lot of NFL teams that don't even have 5 good starters, let alone the backups you feel decent about. Same thing with the D-line. If Dexter Lawrence is off the field, God forbid, we're not allowing a 15, 20, 25-yard run. Edge rushers that can stop the run, D-linemen that can better stop the run and be a better complement to Dexter Lawrence. So get the depth better on this team to not just necessarily increase the ceiling, but God, like, crying out loud, let's not be a 4-win football team next year. And I think that starts with depth, not necessarily, you need stars, but not necessarily all the stars that you have on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I've been preaching since the beginning. It's like depth fucking matters.
Yeah, depth is what makes you a 6, 7, 8-win team versus a 2, 3, 4-win team. IMO, in my opinion.
IMO. In my opinion. It's in your opinion. In my IMO.
IMO.
MIO.
Yeah,
Neo.
this question is interesting though, because Bobby, my first instinct to answer this question, because Research Rick, what 3 moves would it take for you to meaningfully raise your excitement level about the 2025 Giants? And a lot of that is like free agency and spend money here, like get that guard, get that cornerback, and in a way, like we kind of, I think we're both in this mode of we want the Giants to spend, but maybe also spend responsibly, because we don't want Joe Shane to have like a Jerry Reese 2016 offseason.
You want to know the real answer is the way that to do that would be to go all out for 1 year to get us more excited about the 25. They'd be making the wrong decisions. I went about like things that I would like, right? Like, if they went out and signed T. Higgins, Trey Smith, DJ Reed, and backload the shit out of their contracts and moved a ton of money around.
That would make me
that
excited.
Get me a lot more excited about the 2025 season.
Yes.
Sure, I would not be. I wouldn't approve of going and doing that. But it would make the 2025 season more fun once it got here. At least, hopefully.
Yeah. So that's why Rick's question is unique, because those things would make me excited as hell. But
yeah, they could take a quarterback I don't want. And I don't like that, but I still will be excited to watch that quarterback as a rookie.
But this in a way should not be like oh my God, this is such an exciting move, exciting offseason that the Giants have outside of what they do at quarterback. Besides maybe one big ticket, big money free agent, and then other supplemental moves, I don't view this offseason as something that maybe should be as like, meaningfully excited, like Research Rick asked, even though Joe Shane may do that because he feels like his job is on the line.
Absolutely. Justin, why don't you talk to us about something while I tweet about Zach Core?
Well, I will. And the next question is coming from Ryan at Anobi Dynasty. How will Joe Shane's Senior Bowl evaluations determine your ability to read an ad? Well, here's how it's going to determine. Because SeatGeek. Bobby, is there any... there's sporting events, there's festivals, there's concerts happening everywhere. So SeatGeek,
the Senior Bowl.
It's a new year, and to celebrate another year of our amazing partnership with SeatGeek, we have a new code just for you guys. You can now use code Giants2025 for 10% off tickets on SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the number 1 rated ticketing app in the world out there. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and so much more. And right now, you get tickets to the NFL playoffs, baseball games, NBA, and NHL, not to mention tons of concerts and other events. We may even find something close to Mobile, Alabama, because why the heck not? Because SeatGeek is awesome, and they got us hooked up. Every ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. Just look at the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. You know the drill. So excited for another year partnering with SeatGeek. They're the presenting sponsor of this show, which is pretty cool. And we came through for you guys. You can use code Giants2025 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code Giants2025. You will be glad you did. Are you ready for the next question?
I'll just read out the tweet. He was with Mike Vrabel and Shane Bowen in 10 SC.
Who was?
Zach Core.
Who is this?
He's just a defensive assistant. He's not a position coach.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. I'm tweeting this from my account. Let me put it up for the Talking Giants account. It's not AP photo worthy, which I don't think he even has any. All right. 1, 2, 3. Command V.
Buckle my shoe.
Why don't you ask the next question?
I will ask the next question. Tommy Edwards at Ted Wards 89. Out of our rookie draft class not named Malik Neighbors, which player do you believe has the highest ceiling, and what makes you think that? And I think we maybe alluded to this earlier. Bobby's and I's answer is Tyler Nubin.
Well, I'm getting rid of the ceiling thing because I kind of hate the word ceiling. Because ceiling, let's talk about the player's reality.
We talked about the floor. We just talked about the team's floor before.
Let's talk about what we think that player is going to be. Because Theo Johnson, in my opinion, has the highest ceiling.
Okay.
He's a fucking freak 6'6" tight end who can leap and has a great he has the highest ceiling. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be. I still think it's going to be Tyler Nubin. like you said.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully he gets put in some more advantageous positions to get his hands on the football. But, like, he was the player I liked the most out of all of them. My rankings of them were Nubin, Theo, Phillips, Tracy, Muasa. Now, Tracy is the best right now. He had the best rookie year, obviously. But I just think after 3 years, we'll look at Tyler Nubin as the second best player from the draft. And I don't have a ton of, like, NFL, like, this stats or whatever, but I watched the film, and I'm like, this is a better safety than Jason Pinnock. I understand. I see where he takes some chances. He did a fairly good job in man coverage. He plays, good run defense outside of some bad angles. I just think after 3 years, Tyler Nubin, I think, will be what I view as the best player of the group.
Yeah, for me, how I approach the answer to this question is I think there's a better chance that we can view Tyler Nubin, if you rank safeties in the NFL, I think there's a better chance after 2 or 3 years that Tyler Nubin may be higher on that list than Tyrone Tracy is as a running back. Is that fair?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. Hiccup. Yeah. I love Tyler Nubin, the way that he was able to play run defense this year, and I don't think the ball skills just are going to go away. Right? You look at Cordell Flott's resume at college. Not a one interception. Deonte Banks had 2 through like 3 years of starting. So those guys didn't have it on their resume of going after the football. Tyler Nubin has it on his resume of going after the football, making plays on the football. So I don't think that's just going to go away from him. Now, for sitting here in year 3 and he's having a similar ball production of what he had year 1, yeah, it's probably going to, at that point, it may have gone away. But I'm not ready to say, I'm really concerned about Tyler Nubin's future of getting interceptions and making plays on the football. I do think Shane Bowen ran a pretty conservative defense. Maybe he knew the personnel that he had, or maybe Shane Bowen's just not that good of a defense coordinator, which, he did. It's kind of strange. You saw Kevin Byard and some of the safeties in Tennessee. You saw that he did put those guys in positions to do interesting stuff, and that's why I was excited about Tyler Nubin. So hopefully more is put on his plate this year, maybe a better complement across from him compared to Jason Pinnock, and he continues to be a solid run defender. Maybe he even gets better in that department, like his counterpart in like Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah, if he got that would be sick. But yeah,
very different players, though. Very different players.
Yeah, but again, like you said, I don't think those ball skills. Like, he's a smart player. It's very clear to see he's a smart player. And as I think he gets into year 2, you'll see him feel a little more comfortable. Taking some more calculated risks, where like you watch Jesse Bates, right? And he's not just like, okay, this is what we do on the board. He studies and he knows what the offense is going to run. He sees certain things. He will leave the area he's supposed to be on the whiteboard and go make a play. And I think as Nubin starts to get a little more comfortable in the NFL, you'll start to see that. And we know he's a good run defender as well. So yeah, I agree. I thought we were going to have some type of different answers. Right now, the answer is Tyrone Tracy after the rookie year, but Tyler Nubin, I think, will be the second best player from this draft when we look back at it.
All right.
Which, hey, he was a second round pick, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Alex Sanso at Sanso_Alex. If the Giants have to take a QB in round 2, should they just have Bobby and Justin read an ad instead? Do you want to save that question after this next question? Since
let's save that question for after this next question.
All right, Alex, we'll come back to you. Thanks for asking it. But Tobias Colmegna, let me know if I said that right, at Tobias0709. If the Giants spend big in free agency this offseason, what position/players would you like to see them prioritize?
So I went and looked at like the quote-unquote best available free agents, and it mostly lined up. To me, it's guard and corner.
Me too.
Because you've got like the top heavy spots of like Trey Smith or DJ Reed, but then you actually have like value guys at each spot. You have, I don't think Zeitler would come back, but Tevin Jenkins, Will Fries, and other players at guard, and then a corner of Asante Samuel, Byron Murphy, Charvarius Ward, Russell Douglas. So it's like you have the position; those are both positions of need. You have the top of the class talent, but also the depth pieces. If you're not going to pay, top of the market, defensive tackle, I wanted to put on here, but I looked at that group and didn't love it. There's BJ Hill, I think, is actually a legitimate reunion that could happen with the Giants, and not just a familiar name. But yeah, that's where I kind of found myself at. Like guard and corner is probably where I want it. But my question is, I don't know if they would do guard, man, after the investments they made last year, but we'll see.
And then I guess why not?
Maybe I'm early misjudging what Shane might do wrong, but I just look at guard and I'm like, that's a spot where you should be going and spend some money this offseason.
Yeah, and typically the teams that do have a lot of money spent in their offensive lines, they do have good offensive lines as well, whether it's guys that they draft and then extend or just teams that are aggressive going after good offensive linemen. And I really do view, I think tackles you should try and draft, try and develop. Try is the key word. But guards, it's a exploding market, and the good guards are getting paid a lot of money. And that's a position where it's tough to draft rookies and then throw them into the fire. Like, the two, Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green, Bobby, two of the most cleanest interior offensive line prospects that we've seen over the last couple of years since we started covering this. It's been rare that we've said those interior offensive linemen are clear-cut first-round draft picks and damn really good players. They're both, not great. I think Zion Johnson a little bit better.
Top 15 picks, too.
Yeah, I think Zion Johnson maybe a little bit better, but Kenyon Green, not good. And cornerback is another position that's just very tough to predict when it comes to drafting. So that's why I am very okay with overspending and spending big money on those two positions.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on some of the top corners being small?
I don't care that much, especially
it's seeming to become a little less relevant, the overall size of outside corners.
Yeah, I still like the arms to be around 30 inches or longer. Like that seems to be we talked about this a couple years ago where basically there's a cutoff. 30 inches, if your arms are longer, odds are you may be a decent NFL player. But usually the guys that have arms that are shorter than 30 inches, odds are you're not going to be a good NFL player. So I still like to get some of the longer guys. And you could still have short guys that just kind of look weird with long arms, because that's the way that cornerbacks are built sometimes. If this were Wink's system, I would care a little bit more about it. But now that we're in Bowen's system that mixes man and zone, I don't care as much about it.
Yeah, DJ Reed's 5'9", but he has 31 and 5/8 inch arms.
Dude, he's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, I haven't really watched DJ Reed film.
But I look at metrics for corners and stuff like that, and he's just at the top of everything.
Right.
Everything. It's my dream.
I mean, we do have the Jets' former safety coach.
We do.
As our DB coach.
That's the you don't have to move. You can stay in New Jersey, New York. You don't have to change any lifestyle. We have the safety coach that you love. Come to the Giants. We're a lot of fun. That's my pitch.
Also, Justin, Jordan Whitehead signed a 2-year, $9 million contract with the Bucks. They currently only have $2 million in cap space for the year. He has zero dead money on his contract. Maybe he becomes a cap casualty. We get Jordan Whitehead.
I've loved him. That's been you watched that Super Bowl, the Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl, and that playoff run that they had a couple years ago. He was really damn good. If you remember the Bills Jets game, the Monday Night Football game where Rodgers tore his Achilles, I think Whitehead had 2 or 3 interceptions in the same game,
3.
and they were nice interceptions too. So Jordan Whitehead's been a player that I've appreciated and respected. He plays hard, plays tough. A guy that I've appreciated the last couple years in the NFL.
Hey, he's also played safety next to a former Minnesota Gopher, number 31.
Wow, look at that.
All right, next question.
Next question is coming from, and this is our guy Alex. Alex Sanso at Sanso_Alex. If the Giants have to take a QB in round 2, should they just have Bobby and Justin read an ad instead?
Today's episode is sponsored by guess who? Guess who? 3, 2, 1. Corona. You know what I always try to be? A fan that never loses, never lost. Here's what I mean. My team doesn't win every single week, but even when they lose, I'm still loving the game. Because whether it's a big deep ball, some third and short conversions, or just a great tailgate out in the parking lot, there's always something to cheer for. And the best beer to pair with awesome moments? Corona. Corona is all about finding the maximum amount of joy within every moment of the game. Win or lose, at home or on the road. It's the perfect beer to go along with watching football and all the moments that come with it. Senior Bowl? Sheesh. So, cheers to everyone who loves the game beyond the scoreboard. Corona, for the fans who never lost, get yours at ordercorona.com for 21 plus. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. You'll be glad you did. Next question.
I think this is our last question, Bobby Skinner.
How about that?
Him at nonchalant0033. Very nonchalant. New GM for the Tennessee Titans says he's picking the generational player. Do you guys think he's talking about Travis Hunter? As I spit on my microphone. Do you see that? Do you guys still think he's talking about Travis Hunter, or do you still think they'll go QB? Bobby, I think that comment honestly isn't even about the Titans' overall plans. I think that comment was a message to 31 other NFL teams. That's what I think we're in that silly season of having the value of having the first overall pick.
You know what? I tried to go find I put this question in the mailbag, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go find the context to this because I didn't really see any of the context. I just saw the quote on social media. So I watched the 35-minute press conference while I was doing some other notes for this. Instead of listening to music or whatever, just listen. And this quote never came out.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
So then I search it on Twitter, and it's not there. But I see Research Rick has, the keywords, a video on it. So I messaged Research Rick, and I was like, hey, around what time in the maybe I missed it while I was doing notes. I missed it, and he says I didn't hear it. Funnily enough, and then he says, based on Paul Kaharski's timeline, who's like a Titans writer. Anytime I'm looking some Titans information, I'll go see what he's saying. I believe Brinker had a quotes-only session prior to the Borgonzi presser. So this was not the on-camera press conference that they did. So I was trying to find the context for it, and then Research Rick actually sent me some good tweets. And he said, few are talking about Brinker's goal of having 12 top 100 picks in the next 3 years, while they currently have 8.
There you go.
Borgonzi talked about trading back. They'll definitely be open for business at the same time as lying season, so you can read into it. So I thought I wanted to see the context on it because nobody gave the context on Twitter, and then I realized that's a quotes only session. So I don't know what to think of that at all. But it does make me think, like you said, that it's more so that they're open to trading out. But again, I have no clue either. There was a quote about how the quarterback's the most important and what they look forward in it and all that. So, unfortunately, we don't have any clarity on the Titans draft before the season's even officially over. But we'll see. We'll see. I kind of hate what the Titans are doing right now. Dude, like, I don't care what you think about Ryan Borgonzi. They have a clear power struggle there
Very
with Chad
clear.
Brinker, who's the CEO of football. A clear, right? And that's why they fired Rand Carthon. And he makes like the final decisions, and so they pressed on the Tennessee reporters pressed him on it and being like, he's like he doesn't answer the question, right? He's like, oh well, and they like wouldn't answer, and then the reporters are saying like, okay, but like you said, it's collaborative. What happens if you view one player as the number one player in the draft, and Mike views somebody else as it? Who makes the decision? He's like, well, that just means we're gonna go back and watch some more film. And it's like. No, like
You may disagree.
Who makes the decision? So it's just it just seems like a fucking mess over there where the GM's actually the assistant GM to Chad Brinker.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the assistant, he was the former assistant GM of the Chiefs, right? And he was there for a long, long time. Really long time. And like, why choose to, if you're going to leave, this is the job that you're going to take when there's inevitably like this power struggle and you don't even, and I do like the staff that they're building over that they have in Tennessee, so I can't even fully use that against them. And I do like the head coach and Zach Taylor, but you don't even get to
He just may not be viewed as a good GM candidate.
Maybe not
in the NFL scene because it's hard to judge GM candidates. Ryan Poles, who was lower than him in the organization, got a job before Borgonzi did.
It's true.
So, that could be it too. This was his only shot at it. But we'll see. But I was hoping to get some clarity out of that quote, and then I couldn't find it, unfortunately, because it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, I just think we're at the point of the year where it's funny. What leverage do the Browns have? What do the Browns want to do? And anybody that has a top pick has leverage over the rest of the NFL because there's other teams that are going to want that pick. They're going to want those players, and they have leverage of just having that pick.
I'm not really paying attention into any rumors or anything until after the combine.
Yeah.
Then I feel like we can nail down a better grasp of what these teams want to do. Because that's when teams fucking talk and you start to hear shit. Dude, we're going to be in Alabama next time people are watching us.
Yes, we are. We'll go over our full Senior Bowl plan since we're not running that long on this show. So we're going to have a Talk of Giants episode and a Football Today episode. We'll be filming those on Monday. Football Today comes out on Monday, and then we'll do Talk of Giants. We'll have that on Tuesday from the Airbnb. Will Grump be on that episode?
He should be.
Okay. I always forget what we do the first episode pre-Senior Bowl practices. I always kind of...
Senior Bowl, we do like a little Senior Bowl preview.
Oh, that's right.
If we get some interviews with the quarterback or something at Radio Row, we'll throw that on there.
We'll throw that on there for sure. So then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will be live streaming from the Talkin' Giants channel after the practices. And then as soon as the Talkin' Giants live stream ends, that is when we will drop the Senior Bowl practice recap videos on the JM Football channel. So make sure you're subscribed over to JM Football. I'm going to crush it with a shit ton of shorts because they did really well last year on YouTube. It works well for the search optimization after the draft and shit like that. So I'm really going to be throwing a ton of shit at the wall in terms of look at this guy, look at this play, look at this catch, look at this old lineman, look at all those chickens. I'm going to be crushing it over there. Bobby's going to be crushing it with some film breakdowns as well. And of course, the recaps are always a ton of fun as well. We have the media row access as well, thanks to Bobby Skinner and thanks to Molly. So yeah, we're gonna crush Senior Bowl week on this channel and on the Talkin' Giants channel as well, and on the JM Football channel as well.
I'm excited for it. So get ready for. I'm excited to see. I'm just excited to see what our Airbnb recording setup's gonna look like. That's always a fun one.
Yeah, it's in like the house. We've never stayed in an Airbnb before that has like
we got kicked out of the last house.
Yeah, there was a whole.
Oh, this
thing.
has 2 floors.
I believe this has 2 floors. Yeah.
Should we record on the first floor or the second floor?
I think we should record on the first floor. I don't know if I want to carry everything up.
Maybe I'll make that a poll.
No, don't make it a poll.
That's a poll right now.
There you go. All right,
so
I
didn't
that's
know
the
that
plan.
because we got kicked out of our first house.
We did. It was a whole thing. But Sam handled it.
They're
for
just
us.
like, yeah, you can't stay here anymore because someone else wants to be here.
Yeah, we're like, okay, that kind of sucks. And that's not how this works. Actually, it's not really how this works.
And they're like, but don't we get the priority since we have it booked? They're like, yeah, but they're a long-term renter, so we'd have no idea what the house is going to be and the shape it's going to be in.
You didn't know this like a month and a half ago or a month ago when we booked the place. So that was funny.
Should we record the pod on the first or second floor of our Airbnb?
No, because people are going to say the second floor.
Alabama.
It depends what it looks. We don't even know what it looks like.
All right, I'm just looking for the people's opinion. All right,
because lighting is part of this too, and
so you're saying if there's better lighting on the second floor, you're willing to do it on the second floor?
Yeah, maybe if there's better lighting.
1 vote for the second floor.
Damn it,
that was me.
Oh,
so go vote. You're going to influence the vote with all this.
No,
against it.
Remember there was a period of time in Talking Giants history where we used to do a lot of polls. We would sometimes do like random,
like me versus you, like pick,
and I would always lose.
Even one time, we're just like you picked a random letter, and my letter won. Poll. Yeah, so
gotta go back
now.
To that.
Now we do. Should this guy
get fired?
Yeah,
Every week.
Just feeling those ones out. I was tempted to do who would you draft right now? Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, other. To see where it's at after the season, and people are starting to watch these quarterbacks a little more. But
what are we gonna do in February? Because this is my mother got surgery on her feet a couple weeks ago, and the doctor's a big Giants fan, and he sometimes listens to us. And I'm talking to him, and I'm thinking like, yeah, they didn't really fire anybody, they didn't really do anything. So what are we gonna do in February?
What do you mean? What are we gonna do? We're gonna have a damn good time.
No, I'm talking about like as a podcast.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have a damn good time.
No, I know we're gonna have a damn good time. I know we try and get an interview
The first
after
one of February. It's going to be a Senior Bowl recap. We'll get a interview or two.
After the Super Bowl. Or are we going to talk to reporters? Do we do that?
Maybe one.
Okay.
And then we got to do have you guys decided when you're coming to Florida? What day?
No, it's a discussion that's I have a plan.
Is it happening at all, or is
It's
it just
happening.
keep on
It's
saying
happening.
that?
No,
Okay,
it's
'cause
happening. And
We
Snacks.
should do one group one the day before, like one 4th of July mailbag style, even though it's not going to be that.
Snacks' aunt has she has like a house down in Florida, but it's about a 2.5-hour ride.
That's a
from
terrible
where you
idea.
are.
Get somewhere close to me.
No, but we don't have to pay for a place. All we have to do is pay for the flight.
Where? What? 2.5 hours? Where is it?
I don't know. Snacks knows.
All right, you got to add me to this group chat because I got to direct you guys in the right way.
Okay.
Well, Snacks just won $35,000.
Well, I didn't win $35,000.
He did. That's the worst thing about winning money is everyone just expects you to like pay for stuff. And
No, I'm not gonna. I may be like, hey, do you want to pay for the run? I'm not gonna do that though. I'm not gonna do that.
this
I'm a
is
good guy.
Snacks. If you're listening, you need to pay for that shit. Some people in the chat are saying they won't listen if it's recorded on the first floor.
Oh shit, that's not good. The Patreon chat.
No, it's not even the Patreon chat. It's the poll on Twitter.
Oh
All
crap.
right, that's an episode. We'll see you Tuesday from Alabama. We'll be on Radio Row, so we'll have some interviews. First film breakdown of draft season will be out. You can guess which one it's going to be. We'll see you then. Until then, let's go Big Blue.